Hey guys, Videosec here. Now, of course, my little topic for you guys today, because sometimes I like to talk about sex things, is just pretty much the basic reason why so many people are just so focused on sexual relations versus actual relations. And the best thing I could say is it's because so many people in this country are just too spoiled. Is part, I would say, the biggest reason why. We have gone to a point where people don't really have to rely on each other so much like they used to for relations. And so when it comes to that, people think more on the short term fun parts of the relation versus the actual long term relations. Kind of like, a drug. People have gone so spoiled that they only think about the moments in the drug, the dopamine effect, etc. And so this is kind of, I would say, gone to a point where it could not for the moment, but one day become a problem. And it's because we actually, in a sense, do need each other to survive. But, what's going to happen when it's just like, well, nobody's getting along, nobody's working with each other, whether it's a man and a woman working with each other to raise their kids, or just work with each other in general, really. I think it's still a very important part of, our relations to have people that are like that and enough of them. And, because of this, less and less people are having kids. And, aside from, too many hours at work, obviously, more people in America work time and a half more than they used to back when I was a kid. And I think that's at least part of the reason why so many people think that, having kids and having a family has become such a burden to them, is because we're working so much, and then we come back home and we're too tired to have sex. That, of course, isn't really the only reason. I would say there's plenty of reasons, and it could vary depending on the person. But in a nutshell, I would say that's probably the biggest reason, is that people nowadays are starting to see it just as another burden. Just like a lot of people, it's become an issue already in Japan. It hasn't so much here, but it's become one in Japan, and that's, I would say, the biggest reason why it's happening over there. Of course, some would argue with me about that reason, but take it from me, I've actually looked into this shit quite a bit. So if you want to argue with me in the comments, you can go right ahead. Or if you don't want to watch my video and just place a comment anyway, I guess I'll tell you anyway. I'm fine with that. You can go right ahead. But yeah, man. And I've talked to women about this. I've talked with men about this. Of course, some people have, disagreed with me, but it's like I've said, I've looked into this quite a bit. And for me personally, I don't just go out and have sex with people all the time, as you guys know. I mean, I have Love Doll, and I have pornography. It's in everything. I mean, shit, man. I mean, we have all this shit nowadays that our ancestors didn't have growing up. And, on average, we see more pretty women than our ancestors ever did. Like 100 times more so. You know what I mean? And it's just nuts the way things have changed and the way that, people are trying to adapt to it. But, one day it might change back to a point where more people are going to have more fun with, having families again and enjoying that kind of stuff again. But for now, for probably a long time, I think that people, men and women, and even in the gay community, they just see each other as only needed for sex. And, sometimes I just really don't like people like that, because it's just like, well, there's more to me than just being a sex object for some asshole or some bitch. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I think about that kind of stuff sometimes. Not that I really judge that lifestyle, of course. Take it from me, I get it. But at the same time, I don't really, have much respect for the people that just see me as a sex object, and that's the only use I have, to just be used and discarded. And that my own purpose for them is to just have a momentary feel good feeling in their minds and their bodies, and then moving on, and then treating me like crap afterwards, so to speak. It's like, oh yeah, you need a ride? Well, there's the bus stop over there, guys. Just being a dick, let me tell you. But with that being said, I don't necessarily have much more to talk about on that point. I just think that nowadays people have just become spoiled in that sense. When it comes to sex, they've become very, very spoiled, etc. And the only thing that some people have left when it comes to doing that kind of stuff sometimes is, doing it to fulfill their ego and act like they're better than everybody else, or they're good at something, and thinking that everybody's going to love them for it. Well, just like all the kids I see on Halo think that everybody's going to love them just because they're good at capture the flag on Halo. But guess what? That's not how it works. Not everybody is just going to love you just because you're good in bed, or just because you're good at something. And of course, with that being said, I'll just stop this video. You guys can place your comments below if you want, and we could talk about this more. But in a nutshell, that's what I have to say about that kind of thing. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.